You ever notice how the holiday season brings out two completely different INFJ personalities? One side wants to bake cookies for the entire neighborhood, and the other side wants to move to a remote cabin until January. You mean the social empathy marathoner versus the strategic disappearer? Both live inside the same nervous system, and both get overwhelmed for opposite reasons. Exactly. It's the strangest paradox, wanting connection so badly, yet needing distance just to breathe. I love people, but people can be a lot. It's biology. During the holidays, cortisol and oxytocin are in a tug of war. Cortisol spikes from deadlines, traffic, noise, expectations. Oxytocin spikes from hugs, laughter, shared rituals. The INFJ brain can't decide which one to listen to. So we end up ping-ponging between joy and burnout. One moment, I'm writing heartfelt cards. The next, I'm staring at my phone, wondering if hibernation counts as self-care. It does. Science calls it parasympathetic regulation. We call it, please don't text me for 48 hours. Let's talk about that push-pull. Why do INFJs feel holidays more intensely than most? Because we process emotion through introverted intuition and extroverted feeling. We don't just attend gatherings, we absorb them. Mirror neurons fire like fireworks. Every smile, every awkward silence, every unspoken tension, our brains catalog it all. So when Aunt Maria makes that passive-aggressive comment about your career path, your nervous system experiences it like an actual threat. Correct. The amygdala lights up, cortisol floods. The body interprets emotional conflict the same way it interprets danger. Meanwhile, the INFJ still smiles and says, I'm fine, while secretly plotting an escape route that involves fake phone calls and bathroom meditation. You joke, but micro withdrawals like that are actually healthy. They prevent emotional overstimulation from turning into shutdown. Step outside, touch something real, lower the sensory volume before your empathy short circuits. You know what makes this season even more complicated? The expectations, the perfect dinner, perfect gifts, perfect family photos. It's like society hands us a script we didn't write. And INFJs read the whole thing, annotate it, and blame themselves when the third act collapses. Right, we internalize the failure of the entire holiday dinner because the mashed potatoes were lumpy. That's called idealism overload. It's the INFJ's tendency to connect meaning to everything. We don't see just potatoes. We see symbolic nourishment, belonging, proof of love, which is beautiful and exhausting. So how do we manage that idealism without turning into Grinches or emotional sponges? We practice meaning management. Before any event, ask, what's my purpose here? If the answer is to make everyone happy, you're doomed. If the answer is to share presence, not perfection, you'll survive. That's profound. Reframing intent rewires the brain. It calms the anterior cingulate cortex, reducing social error anxiety. Translation, less people-pleasing, more peace. Precisely. Gratitude without martyrdom. That's the INFJ holiday sweet spot. Let's pull back for a second. Not everyone celebrates the same holidays, but the emotional pattern is universal. Every culture has some end-of-year ritual that blends connection, reflection, and pressure. Right. Whether it's Diwali lights, Hanukkah gatherings, winter solstice, or Lunar New Year prep, the brain chemistry is the same. Anticipation triggers dopamine. Obligation triggers cortisol. Connection releases oxytocin. The ratios differ, but the equation repeats. So what we're really talking about is the neuroscience of belonging and the INFJ's delicate relationship with it. We crave unity, but our sensory threshold is lower. Imagine having surround sound empathy in a world stuck on maximum volume. That's painfully accurate. It's like feeling everyone's emotions in 4K resolution when you'd prefer soft focus. And that's why preparation matters. We can't control environments, but we can condition responses. Pre-holiday grounding, journaling, even setting a single boundary phrase, those are neural safety nets. My boundary phrase this year is, I'd love to join, but I need to pace myself. Polite, honest, cortisol reducing. Elegant. Mine is simpler. No. Brevity is self-care. You're the embodiment of winter minimalism, but even you must admit, connection has benefits. Of course, oxytocin isn't optional. It strengthens immunity, lowers blood pressure, boosts empathy regulation. Healthy connection literally repairs the nervous system. Which explains why, after a genuine conversation, not small talk but real exchange, I feel lighter. That's oxytocin in action. Exactly, but the key word is genuine. Shallow socializing drains, authentic intimacy restores. The INFJ nervous system measures connection by depth, not duration. So a 10-minute heart-to-heart can recharge more than a 6-hour party. Neuroscientifically proven, quality over quantity, especially for introverted intuitives. Let's unpack another common INFJ trap, emotional guilt. We feel responsible for everyone's mood, as if our empathy badge requires full-time emotional maintenance. It's an empathy distortion. Mirror neurons register distress, but the prefrontal cortex interprets it as duty. We forget. Awareness does not equal obligation. I needed to hear that. Sometimes I overgive because I mistake understanding for responsibility. Exactly. The antidote is mindful detachment. Recognize emotion, name it, but don't absorb it. Say silently, that feeling belongs to them. The brain then segregates emotional data properly. So you're telling me neuroscience actually endorses emotional boundaries? Absolutely. Boundaries are not rejection, they're regulation. They keep empathy from mutating into exhaustion. Speaking of exhaustion, let's talk sensory overload, bright lights, shopping crowds, music that never stops. How can INFJs handle the overstimulation without becoming full-time hermits? Use micro recoveries. 10 minutes of quiet after 60 minutes of chaos resets the nervous system. Also manage light and sound exposure. Soft lighting lowers cortisol. Slower tempo music synchronizes heart rate variability. That explains why my silent drive home playlist feels like therapy. I always thought I was weird for needing total silence after gatherings. That's not weird, it's neurological housekeeping. Can we trademark that phrase? Neurological housekeeping for INFJs. It sounds like a spa treatment. Add eucalyptus and I'll invest. You know what else surprises me? The global rise in holiday anxiety. Even in countries without traditional Christmas or Thanksgiving, searches for holiday burnout or introvert fatigue are climbing. It's the collective pace. Technology made the world smaller, but stress more synchronized. We're all performing seasonal joy on the same timeline. So the INFJ sensitivity isn't isolated. It's amplified by global noise. Yes, which means our self-care has to scale too. Digital boundaries count as much as physical ones. Mute group chats, delay responses. You're not required to attend every virtual celebration. Digital minimalism, modern INFJ armor. Let's ground all this science into something practical. If an INFJ asked, what can I do to actually enjoy this season? What would you tell them? 3 steps. First, pre-event grounding. Slow breath, 4 in, 6 out. Second, sensory moderation. Limit time, not warmth. Third, post-event reflection. Journal 1 gratitude, 1 lesson, 1 release. Simple and profound. I'd add a 4th, replace perfection with presence. When I focus on how something feels instead of how it looks, I enjoy it more. That's oxytocin hacking. Presence increases pleasure hormones, decreases performance anxiety. You literally reprogram stress circuits. So our holiday blueprint is part neuroscience, part soul care. Exactly, emotional intelligence meets biology. I think what we're really teaching here is balance. Bliss without boundaries burns out. Ice without warmth isolates. Integration. The INFJ thrives when empathy and logic coexist. Connection with structure, giving with discernment. It's the paradox that defines us. Deep feelers with analytical minds craving both solitude and unity. And that's okay. Duality doesn't mean dysfunction, it means design. So maybe the true holiday goal isn't peace on earth, it's peace in the nervous system. Now that's a slogan worth printing on a mug. I'll add it to my list of meaningful gifts no one asked for. Which brings us full circle, meaning. When INFJs align meaning with limits, the season becomes sustainable. Exactly. Less performance, more presence, less noise, more nuance. That's our INFJ holiday formula. Before we wrap, one reminder to anyone watching, protect your empathy, but don't hide it. The world still needs your depth. And when you start to feel overwhelmed, remember, it's not weakness, it's data. Your body is simply telling you to rest. Take that rest unapologetically. You'll return more grounded, more creative, and more yourself. And if you want to keep learning how to understand that mind of yours, there's a resource built for you. Right, my book, Inside the Mind of an INFJ, available now on Amazon. It's an honest neuroscience meets soul deep dive into how we think, feel, and thrive. Subscribe, share, and take what you've learned into the season ahead. Connection is beautiful, but balance keeps it alive. I'm Bliss. I'm Ice. And this is your INFJ holiday blueprint. Remember, peace isn't found in the noise or the silence. It's found in knowing when you need each. That's the real INFJ gift. Take it easy out there. Happy holidays, wherever your quiet begins.